and welcome to the Oddity Archive, the show that isn't afraid to stretch its own name and concept to its absolute limits. And with that in mind, today's topic is really only an oddity by default. Today, I want to talk about America's first attempt at a fourth major network, DuMont. Not to be confused with DuPont, the chemical company. You know. Anyway, in my personal experience, I find a lot of early TV to be mostly an academic experience in watching it. I mean, a lot of it's really dry, and I think you kind of had to be there at the time to really truly appreciate it. So with that in mind, a lot of DuMont's output is lost, unfortunately, and what I've been able to get my hands on has made for a pretty tedious research experience on my part. But what I've tried to do here is put together the best, and of course, this being the archive, the weirdest moments from their run. But before we get to any of that, I guess we kind of have to do our requisite history lesson first, don't we?
There's a treasure of pleasure for moments of leisure with DuMont. Life has more to it, you thrill when you view it through DuMont.
The history of the DuMont network is a pretty complicated one. Here's my attempt at boiling it down to just the most important stuff. Inventor Alan B. DuMont launched DuMont Laboratories in 1931 as a means of creating and marketing new technology. Most notably, DuMont Labs developed radar and the cathode ray tube, you know, the old TV tubes. In 1938, DuMont started manufacturing their own line of TVs featuring the cathode ray tube, or CRT, technology. Shortly thereafter, DuMont launched an experimental TV station, namely W2XVT, based out of Passaic, New Jersey. W2XVT was later moved to New York City and, after another call sign change, was rechristened WABD in 1944, becoming DuMont's first owned and operated station. DuMont's regular network service began on August 15, 1946, a little over 5 years after NBC and CBS's first commercial broadcasts. Of course, DuMont's plan was to expand into a TV network and compete with NBC and CBS. However, the US's involvement in World War II brought TV to a halt, both in broadcasting and licensing, opening up most of the TV frequencies to military use. After the war, the FCC resumed taking submissions for TV licenses and, perhaps unsurprisingly, the response was overwhelming, leading to overcrowded airwaves. This led to a freeze on granting new licenses from 1948 to 1952, while they devised a means of sorting out a proper set of regulations in TV broadcasting, which was only on the VHF band up to Channel 13 at the time. Once the freeze ended, the FCC opened up the UHF band for broadcast, and while this was a theoretical fix for DuMont, the overriding problem was that most TVs, DuMont's included, were only capable of receiving VHF stations at the time. UHF was generally only received via a separate adapter in those days. UHF capability wouldn't become standard on most TVs until the mid-60s.
Gives away Coca-Cola dollars presents Bob Kennedy!
Another major problem facing DuMont was that they didn't have the resources of the established networks, forcing them to produce their shows on much lower budgets with much fewer celebrities. And folks in the late 40s, early 50s weren't exactly enthusiastic about dropping at least $300 on a TV, only to see a bunch of people they'd never heard of. DuMont only managed to scrape together 3 owned and operated stations and 17 primary affiliations in its lifetime. Another 222 stations carried cherry-picked DuMont programming, but usually only sporting events, leaving most of DuMont's original programming in the dust.
Goes towards the postage on the packages that we sent to the Ursuline missions in Alaska, China, and Montana.
On September 23, 1955, DuMont carried its final original program, a game show called What's the Story? To fulfill their existing sports contracts, DuMont only carried sporting events after that. On August 5, 1956, 9 days short of what would have been their 10th anniversary, DuMont ran its final broadcast, a boxing match. By the early 70s, DuMont's archive had fallen into the hands of ABC, and according to actress Edie Adams, sometime in the early 70s, when trying to buy out the rights to Ernie Kovacs, her late husband's DuMont output, Adams found out about the whereabouts of the DuMont archive. However, ABC, not wanting to put up with the costs of storage and copyright renewals, had already dumped the archive into the upper New York Bay. Most surviving DuMont shows only exist because they were captured via kinescope for rebroadcast, and the receiving stations never threw out the film. As such, shows like the apparent first TV sitcom Mary Kay and Johnny, and the mystery series The Gallery of Madame Lu Song, featuring silent film star Anna May Wong, are all completely lost.
Wally, pay attention. What are you doing over there?
I'm just explaining a simple fact to Bowers, Mr. Delmar.
What simple fact?
Merely that in direct-view electronic cathode ray tubes, such as you find in our DuMont sets, it is possible to increase dimension without image disintegration or loss of definition.
Well, it may be a fact, but it ain't simple.
What he means, Professor, is that DuMont television sets are hot stuff.
He did?
Certainly. After all, DuMont pioneered the big direct-view tubes right from the start. DuMont makes the kind of big tubes that mean not just bigger pictures, but also brighter, sharper pictures.
You see what I mean? Hot stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, Mr. Delmar. After all, DuMont pioneered these direct-view tubes, you know.
You see what I mean, Professor?
Well, those
hot.
Yes.
Even today, only DuMont makes a giant 20-inch tube, 213 square inches of picture. Now, that's 4 times as large as the picture you get on most of today's television sets. And
yeah, you understand?
Yeah,
You
right.
always have to have a little brain to understand.
Yes.
And you do have a little brain, don't you, Professor?
Oh, well, certainly, Bowers.
Yeah.
No,
Mr. Delmar,
Yes.
even today, DuMont television receivers all have FM radio as well as television, and that's another sign of DuMont quality.
Well, that certainly is very sensational. I would make some remark now, only I think the best thing we should do is to get back to class. Yes, so go back to your seats, boys. Now, boys and girls.
Now, theoretically, this would be the sort of episode where I'd be riffing at least some of the material, but I'm not going to. Just for that, I am making the next episode of VHS Vault. And I am putting some of today's material in the archive riffs pile.
You're a bastard!
Don't make it worse. Anyway, as I was about to say, there's just too much material here to give anything more than a passing glance to, so with that in mind, let's just get going here. First up, let's take a look at some of the dramas that appeared on the DuMont network, and to me this is pretty much symptomatic of everything about early TV. Almost all of it is live, and as such you've got awkward delivery and flubbed lines and missed cues all over the place. And this being DuMont, they didn't have a lot of money, so they had to rely on somebody playing an electric organ just off camera all the time, so you get these really cheesy soundtracks to boot. And on top of that, you know, it's early TV, and they had to get a lot of new material out the door constantly, and as such, you get some pretty half-baked scripts. But anyway, as I've very majorly implied here, I had a tough time getting into this stuff, and with one notable exception, I just couldn't muster any real interest in the characters or situations or anything. And I think you'll see why.
Oh, hello. Back when I was a kid in high school, I worked all one summer for a traveling carnival. It was an experience I never forgot. I suppose that's what must have prompted me one day not long ago to stop at one. I was driving back to the city in my Kaiser after having spent a rather dull weekend in the country. And I happened to notice this particular show.
See, Mademoiselle Louise. See the Queen of Terpsichore. See her special temple dance, the secret dance, performed only in the Forbidden City. Every movement of the little lady has a meaning of its own. Mademoiselle Louise knows all and shows all. Learn the secret that drove King Avenusia mad. Step right up, folks. It's a dime, 10 cents.
My boyfriend and I got a trapeze act. I don't want to be a cooch dancer. I want to be in a big act like Hugo's. Mademoiselle Louise, Queen of the High Wire.
Louise.
Oh, the boss. What is it, Colonel?
Where's Tex?
I don't know. I haven't seen him for a couple of hours.
Where'd he go?
Well, the last time I saw him, he was walking across the street with Amy Muller.
He went over to the tavern with her? Well, I warned him. He's really in for it now. Must be hard with you around.
How was Amy killed, Colonel?
Lydia found her, hanging from a ridgepole after the afternoon show.
That knot on your belt.
Not.
Yeah. It's exactly like the one that was used in the murder. Where did you learn to tie a cowboy knot?
Tex taught me. He taught lots of people on the lot. Mr. Queen, you don't think that I had
don't think
anything to do...
anything just yet, Louise.
Why are you snooping around, sticking your nose into things that don't concern you?
Oh, it's just a noble impulse to see justice done, Colonel. Oh, incidentally, you seemed awfully anxious to pin this thing on Tex.
I just want to get it cleared up. We're supposed to pull stakes tomorrow. If the show's held up and I blow the next town, why, I'll be ruined.
So you pin the tail on the first donkey that's handy, is that it?
Tex is the killer, and you know it.
Do I? The killer wore a heavy ring.
Yeah,
the marks show it plainly.
But the hangings, they're all...
An obvious attempt to pin this murder on Tex. No, Hugo. Our killer wore a heavy ring. And he strangled her from above. Probably from a trapeze.
Now, I'm going to finish you. Don't be a fool, Hugo. Don't be a fool. They'll get you for sure.
They'll never get Hugo. Hugo is too smart for them. They'll plan their plan to Tex.
No, Tex is in jail. They haven't
I don't
released him.
feel anything for you except gratitude for having given me this chance.
It's not true. You love me.
Love you? What on earth gave you that idea?
Louise, you love me. You love me, Louise. Now you couldn't do that to me, Louise. You couldn't do that to me. You made me believe that you cared for me. And then now you laugh. Laugh at me, yes. Laugh till I'll shut the clamp in your throat. You can't sleep anymore. You know now that I killed Emmy, and I must finish you this thing.
Thank you, Mr. Queen.
Rocky King, Detective. Starring Roscoe Carnes as Chief of Homicide of a Metropolitan Police Force in an exciting adventure in crime.
Thanks. I drink it. We don't open until tomorrow night.
just keep the door locked, that's all.
Oh, fiddly-dee, what's the difference? People have seen girls in their bathing suits before.
Yeah, but not exactly like that. You shortchange yourself a little bit.
Oh, this isn't all of it. I wear a skirt over the lower part until just before I approach the water.
Yeah, well, that'll help some, but you ought to have something up here a little more prominent.
Oh, dear, you're so old-fashioned. You haven't kept up with the new styles at all. Junior liked it just as it is. He said I looked like the girl in that reducing ad.
You mean the picture of the one before taking? Mabel, you're out of your mind, but I love you just the same. Go ahead and wear it. What's the difference? It might keep me awake. Say, how's our son getting along with his new job? You're out of there right away.
Oh, yes, I will. But I'll have to do it diplomatically. I'm very friendly with his wife.
Well, I don't care how you do it, Mabel. Just get him out of there. You know, he's going to find out about those horses soon enough. Hello, Inspector King.
Good morning, Inspector. Captain Murray called you yet, sir?
No, he didn't. What does he want?
Well, he wants to tell you about that case he was on last night.
Well, I don't know anything about it. What is it?
A man was found dead over in that actor's boarding house over on Delaney Street, sir.
Yes, who was it?
A magician. He calls himself Lionel the Great. Now, he evidently died of some kind of poison. We don't know what it is yet because the lab's report hasn't come back.
Yeah, well, how'd he get it?
Drank it from a glass of whiskey.
Well, any prints on the glass?
Yeah, the dead man, plus a couple of others, but they were too smudged to make out.
Starkey, this is Inspector King.
How do you do?
This is terrible, Inspector. I've always run a respectable establishment.
That's all right. Don't get excited about it. Murder happens in the unexpected place. You never can tell where. And it is murder, isn't it?
Well, I don't know.
Well, that's what the police seem to think. How many rooms you got here, Mr. Starkey?
7.
Are they all rented?
Oh, there's been nobody in the place but this vaudeville act for the past month.
Well, then things haven't been too good for you, have they? You mean this vaudeville troupe's been here for a month?
No, only a week. They came in from Cleveland. They opened at the Central Theater tonight.
Well, did you notice any strangers around here yesterday?
No.
Yeah? Well, what's your ideas on this? Have you got any?
Not on who killed them. Mistake.
All right, shut up. Leave him alone, Lane.
Hey, Gallagher, come on in here a minute, will you?
No, I'm going to ask you to tell the same story and see if you can do it the same way.
Yes, Sergeant. Put this guy somewhere. He's been wandering around too much.
Didn't do anything.
Muscles.
I wonder if that fat guy thinks I believe it. Must be part of their equipment, Lane. Something inside of here somewhere. Trick is to get this thing off, I say.
From the bottom here?
No, right here. No trick at all. Just unscrew it. Wait a minute. This is a good trick if they're real.
Holy smoke, this must be what the killer was after.
Yes, and Starkey, too. And make us believe that the killer's striking again.
You're crazy.
No, I'm not crazy, but you are. If you think you can get away with it. You know about that jewelry. You and Lionel have been partners for years. Oh, yes, these people were in it, too. And they had a great act. They made jewelry disappear in every city in the United States of America, but you wanted to double-cross everybody. Put the blame on them. I don't think you meant to kill him. But when you gave him too much, and you did, you got scared, and you called the police. Well, have you got enough, Starkey?
Get enough! Don't move! Stay back, everybody! Don't move! Stay back, I tell you!
All right, stay right here, Lane. Look out.
Drop that gun! Steady, Lane!
Hollis, he's hurt pretty bad. He's right in the stomach.
All right, I'll get you now. All right, dear. I'll be right home. Wonderful girl, that Mabel.
Like the dramas, most of the comedies that aired on the DuMont network just frankly weren't very good. And what I've got here are some clips from the 2, in my opinion, best comedies that ran on DuMont, and strangely enough, probably the best known ones of what survived anyway. And I figured I might as well throw in some clips from the worst as well. Let's take a look.
The Cavalcade of Stars. Starring Jackie Gleason.
dandy crowd. I want to say before we go any further, a lot of people have been claiming that when they get here late, they can't get a seat down front. So starting next week, we're all having all of the front seats put in the back and all the back seats put in the front. So if you get here late, you'll get a front seat even though you sit in the back. Please, I have a headache. Now, I feel... Oh, I have an announcement to make before we get going, ladies and gentlemen. If there is a Mr. or Mrs. Brown in the audience, your babysitter just called and wants to know how you folded, triangular or square. Thank you. We do these little services for everyone.
Yes, darling. Which hat are you going to wear, Mom? I didn't decide yet which hat. Bring in the hat. You, Mrs. Silvertone. You. Mrs. Silvertone left for her daughter-in-law. Oh, already? Yes. Oh, thank you, darling. I just wanted to see what I should wear tonight with my... Let me see. Which dress are you going to wear it? With my periwinkle. Visualize. Huh? Maybe a periwinkle, I don't like it. No. So see this one. See if you like this one better. Let me see. With a veil better. A little better, but I'm not crazy for it. Me neither. It makes me shorty flat. Here, give me it. Try mine. Oh, I always look better in somebody else's hat. I always told you to take me along when you're going buying a hat. How is that? Oh, I love it. Wear it. So what will you wear? Come here, let me try yours. Huh? Try mine. Here, look. Let me see. How do you like this one? A little bit on the side. Yeah, I love it. From where is that? Mrs. Herman, darling, if I did something or said something through the year, I want to say I'm sorry. And if I said something or did something, I'm sorry, too. Yeah. Molly. All right, darling, so I'll see you later. Yeah, darling. Bye, thank you.
Pupils in Kenny Delmar's class were Arnold Stang, Tommy Dix, Betty Ann Nyman, Kenny Bowers, Helene Stanley Jr., Wally Cox, Bill Masheri, and Rudy...
boys and girls, we are going to have philosophy at this time, or character study. Now, I would like you all to... I'm going to emphasize one thing here, and that is that we should all be gentle and considerate and kind. You see, when you talk to people, talk nicely to them. After all, the world, life is like an oyster.
Hey, teacher, why is life like an oyster?
You shut up. Yes, life is like an oyster. As one philosopher once said, voulez-vous changer que personne assied c'est la fenêtre? He was a French philosopher. I will illustrate. Told him to fix that ceiling. Now, it's an element in a strong character. It's to a strong character never lets himself be imposed upon. He is always ready to retaliate.
What does that mean, teacher?
I will illustrate. Powers, come here. I am keeping you after school.
I can't, teacher. I got to make up with Betty this afternoon.
Yes, teacher, I'm mad at him, and I have very good reason to be.
Oh, what happened, Betty?
Oh, I'll tell you, it's like this. You know, Betty, you're my steady.
Kenny, I just love ragtime.
Oh, wait, Professor. You know, it's not called ragtime anymore. It's bebop.
Oh, bebop. Oh, yes, from the poem.
Poem?
Yeah, Little Miss Bebop who lost her shebop. No.
You're all mixed up, Professor. I will illustrate for you.
Well, go ahead.
Grab the coat, grab your hat.
Stang, step forward. Are you ready with your poem?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, yes, teacher, yes.
All right, then get out and do it.
The Ancient Mariner by Samuel Taylor Coleridge, born
1772, deceased 1834. But I don't know when he died.
Go ahead with your poem.
It is an ancient mariner, and he died.
Arnold, what is an ancient mariner? A mariner?
A mariner? That's a fellow that marinates herring.
No, Arnold, that's wrong.
What's wrong about it? Some people happen to like marinated herring.
From where I stand, it seems like kiddom in the 40s and 50s, especially for the boys, seems to boil down to two things: cowboys and spaceships. And one of the two shows here has both, for no good reason whatsoever.
The serials made by Post take you to the secret mountain retreat of Captain Video, Master of Space, Hero of Science, Captain of the Video Rangers. Operating from his secret mountain headquarters on the planet Earth, Captain Video rallies men of goodwill and leads them against the forces of evil everywhere.
McGovern and I, at any rate, am guilty of a crime against the universe. I can repay the universe by exchanging my life for that of a man whose life means more than any other in this century. The life of Captain Video.
And seeing that I'm as guilty as Mr. Cromwell, I'm very happy to go along with it.
You mean that you too? You're going to
blow up Comet X?
Yes, you're right. Captain Video to the Excalibur. Captain Video to the Excalibur. Come in, please. Come in.
Excalibur? Ensign Tubbs speaking, Captain.
Well, look, here are your orders, Tubbs. The Ranger and I are going to start for Comet X. You and Bascom take the Excalibur and start for planet Earth. When you arrive, Fraser, McGovern, and Cromwell are to be handed over to the Ranger police. You and Bascom know the charges against them. See that they're recorded for the court-martial.
Aye, aye, sir.
Now hear this and remember. Say that I recommend clemency for both Cromwell and McGovern. As for Lieutenant Fraser, I'm afraid his record must speak for itself. That's all, Tubbs. Safe voyage home and cosmic luck to you.
Good luck to you, sir.
Oh, hi there, Rangers. Well, that sort of leaves things on the fence so far as Pluto's man-made satellites are concerned. But there's nothing much we can do about it, Rangers. At least not until we hear from Commissioner Carey. So, in the meantime, what do you say we go ahead and beam in Captain Video's Western agents? Rangers, you'll recall in last report that agents Maynard, Gibson, and Steele rounded up that gang of gold thieves. And, well, they did a pretty good job, Rangers. I've already sent along congratulations and best regards from them to you. So what do you say we beam in another good team of Captain Video's agents now, Agent Sandy Hopkins and Nevada Jack McKenzie. These agents also are California agents, Rangers. So stand by once again for California. Mark this record file number BAS 2154. Come in, please. Sharp focus.
In there.
But what can I do?
Well, Rangers, looks as though Agents McKenzie and Hopkins are going to have to get to that hacienda and get there mighty fast. And when they do
Hello,
get there...
Rogers, hello.
Oh, excuse me, Rangers. Rogers here, sir.
This is Commissioner Carey. My mind's made up, Rogers. We can't take any chances with all those lives on Pluto's sister satellites.
I've got just one thing to tell you. If I don't contact Captain Video, if we don't save him, then there's nothing in this universe that'll save you from me. Hello. Bascom calling Captain Video aboard the Galaxy. Bascom calling Captain Video aboard the Galaxy. Do you read me, sir? Please, do you read me? Bascom calling Captain Video aboard the Galaxy. Bascom calling Captain Video aboard the Galaxy. Do you read me? Do you read?
Things couldn't be worse for Captain Video and the Ranger. One half of Comet X hurtling toward them in space, yet they'll be in a worse spot if they start to use the nuclear cannon. Yes, there are thrills ahead, Rangers, so be sure to watch us next time.
Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Starring Frankie Thomas.
That's fine. Now just hold it there and stay on your toes. If there's any sign of trouble, any hint that anything might go wrong, you cut her back now.
Don't worry, sir. There won't be any such thing as that. Great galaxy. Hello, Captain Sawn.
What's the matter, Redison?
Something's wrong with the main control panel, sir. A short circuit, I think.
Well, then cut down all rockets. We'll travel on 1/4 speed until you find the trouble.
But, sir, I've tried and nothing happens. As a matter of fact, I think we're going even faster.
Well, then shut off all power completely and we'll drift.
Aye, stand by.
What do you suppose happened down there, Strong? I don't know, Commander. Seems like just a simple short in the electrical system, but could be anything. Strong, we're accelerating. Power deck, check in.
Simply put their necks in a noose.
You all set, Astro?
All set, Tom.
Hey, what's holding up the work? Damp your tubes, Roger, and leave us alone. Now just watch your scanner and tell us when we made enough of a turn.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, Astro, port steering rockets. 1/4, sustained burst.
Port 1/4, aye.
No, it's not enough. Increase to 1/2.
Tom, we're bouncing against that scout. We're going to rip a hole in our plate.
So what? Give me 3/4.
I think we're doing it, Tom. We're turning.
Come on, baby. Come on. All right. Sustained power, Astro. Keep pouring it on.
I hate to think of what's happening to those tubes with this load.
Why, a whole set of new ones. Okay, down there. That's enough. We turned her. We're in the clear. All right, Astro. Cut off all power. Oh. Well, boy, we did it. I don't know how, but we did it.
Surprisingly, there are plenty of other surviving DuMont shows out there, and they're almost entirely in the public domain, so if you're curious, I'd recommend you head over to archive.org, no relation to Oddity Archive, and do a little dumpster diving of your own. Just don't be expecting the Holy Grail. Anyway, that's it for today's archive. Join us next time when I take a 50s UHF converter box and try and hook it to my modern flat screen TV. And start a small fire.
There's a treasure of pleasure for moments of leisure with DuMont. Life has more to it, you thrill when you view it through DuMont. First, we're the finest in television, that's the set to all. Famous for life tone and life-size pictures.
Rangers, ever tackle a job you really look forward to doing? Oh boy, you say, rubbing your hands together, that's for me. That's right up my alley. Well, there's one big job that's right up everybody's alley, Rangers. That's the job of fighting discrimination. Seeing to it that the next fellow gets a fair chance, regardless of his race or religion. We've all got a talent for that, if we know how to use it. It comes under the heading of friendship. When we like people and are genuinely interested in them, there's no room for un-American prejudice. So all we have to do is to keep on making new friends. Easy as pie.
This is the DuMont Television Network.